we're live. Maybe somebody can confirm that, but I'm really excited to be with everyone this morning. Happy Saturday morning, and thank you so much for coming on. And I especially want to thank all these extraordinary leaders that are on here with me this morning. Today, we're going to talk about recruiting, and this is a masterclass. So the concept of the masterclass is we want to give you everything from A to Z that you need to know to learn on recruiting. Why do you want to get good at recruiting? If you came into this business, I know many of you are super great at selling, and the things are going crazy with social media. Our products are hot. They're amazing. They're incredible. So I know a lot of you have come in with a simple post. You've come in for free. You've started to earn some money. Things are happening. And a lot of you are actually selling a ton, and you're seeing the fun in that. And it's really, really great. But here's a concept I really want you to think bigger picture. And that is this a business you want to create where you can eventually have it not so dependent upon you and your time, and create some leverage in your life with this business? And the way that you do that is it's just like any other business. You have to create a team. You have to. I mean, I come from human resources. The only way that businesses succeeded was they were able to recruit good people. And I would always teach people to bring in people that are better than you. You want to surround yourself with the best people. So today we want to teach you how to recruit and how to build a team and how you find the best people. And there's really going to be 4 segments to this training, and each and every one of them is vital. And we're starting with maybe, I don't want to use the word easy, because there's nothing easy about success, and there's nothing easy about what, people have done with learning a new skill. And for me, when I say the easiest may not be the easiest for you, because maybe it's not something familiar for you. So we're going to start with attraction marketing. This is kind of the basic with the social media marketing. And we have powerhouses on this topic that have really mastered it. So I want you to listen up closely, because this is something anyone can learn. You can learn how to get good at this. And I want you to really focus on what they're saying with the attraction marketing. Then we're going to lead into stories, which is also around attraction marketing, but it's a little more strategic. On the stories have become so important in Facebook and in Instagram. So if you want to play this game with us and really get good at this, you're going to need to learn how stories work and how that flow. And we're going to have an incredible leader talking about that. Then we're going to move into a technique we call shout outs. That's kind of a referral post. And we're going to learn how to do a shout out. And we're going to learn what works about it and how to flip the shout out. Now, flipping, we use that term flipping. It's really having a shout out and then recruiting the person that did the shout out. So that's a really important component. And then finally, it's really more of a direct recruiting. Okay, direct recruiting, that's all we had available 30 years ago when I started. I had to literally pick up the phone, dial my friends, and invite them to come to a presentation or a meeting. It's so much better now, you guys. We have so many tools available. We have the internet. We can be anywhere at any time and plug somebody into information and find the right people. The key is about finding the right people. Is everybody ready for this? No. And it's not about getting everybody, it's finding the right people. That's the key. One person that's ready to do something with their life can produce massive things. And I go back to a story in, the Bible. I don't want to make this about the Bible but it is a story in the Bible that just, I keep getting reminded of with this business. And it's a story of the casting of the seeds. And the story of the casting of the seeds is like, a farmer casts seeds and some of the seeds are eaten by the birds. In other words, it basically doesn't even hit the soil. That's going to happen. There's going to be people that just don't even notice what we're doing, and it gets eaten by the birds. Then some of the seeds are going to hit rocky soil, that soil that's not ready to hear what we have to share. And that's okay too. We never want to eliminate people from our network, because maybe somebody that's, not ready today will be ready in a little bit. You're going to hear stories today about that. And sometimes the seeds hit the ground, start to grow, and get choked out by the weeds. And we have to understand that people will join this business and they will have difficulty maybe in their life, or maybe they just can't handle it. And what I want you guys to know is it's okay. We can just still love people, help people for where they're at. But sometimes the seeds get choked out by the weeds, and it's not our doing, okay? It's not our doing. We have to only do what we can do, and that is to cast the seeds. And so the final point, and here's the big one, you guys, is some of the seeds will hit fertile ground. And when the seeds hit fertile ground, they will multiply 30, 60, 100-fold. And I look at my business and I look at the seeds that were planted all along the years that I've done this business, and I see the ones that hit fertile ground, and I see that they've multiplied and gone global. And now there's an organization that's around the world that's way more amazing than I could ever be. Honestly, I look at people just on this Masterclass right now that are way better than me in so many different ways, so many different skills. And I just want to applaud each and every one of you for giving your time today to help people, because that's our mission. We're here to help you. We hope this Masterclass helps you. We're going to dive right in with our first speaker. We're going to talk about the first topic, and that is attraction marketing. Attraction marketing. So Jayla, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Eileen. So my name's Jayla. I am from a small town in Virginia. And I really got into this business after becoming a mom and being at home and really dealing with some postpartum blues. And I wanted to find something for me while being able to financially contribute to my family and not put all of that burden on my fiance. And what I found with this business was a community of women who are supportive and, ready to back me in everything I do. And honestly, I found myself in this business. I found myself as the new version of me, the mom version of me. So I'm very grateful for everything that I have gained this far in this business. And I'm excited to be here to help you. So attraction marketing, all of this that we're talking about. I'm going to talk to you about the basics in our business and really where people come. So your profile is your magazine for you. This is where people come. We are doing blitzes. We're doing shout outs. We're doing all of this. The first thing that people are going to do is come look at your profile. So I want you to take a second and really go review your profile. Really look and see what your profile says about you. Okay. And just take some time to think about that. Go look at your profile after this live. Go do something and see, is that somebody that you would want to be friends with? Is that somebody you would want to watch? Is your profile interesting? Like, what's going on in your profile? What are you putting out to the world? So we have this abundance of people coming to our profile. What do we have there? So with our business, we want to follow the simple system that we already have laid out for us. We have this very simple system laid out for us. And the reason that we want to do that is because it can be duplicated. This is what we can teach people. They look at our profile and they see that, wow, this is something I can do. She's not out here posting product. When you do that, people are like looking at you like, wow, okay, no, I don't want to be her. When you are out here being so perfect that, it seems like nothing in the world is harming you, they're going to look at you and they're going to think, wow, I can't be her. But when we're following our simple system and we're showing up as ourselves and we're talking about, the struggles we went through and how we're overcoming that, when we are talking about real life things and engaging with people on our profile, they are going to see you as somebody they like, know, and trust. And not only do they buy from people they like, know, and trust, but they join people that they like, know, and trust. So let's break it down. We have this simple system. We have a posting cycle. 80% of what we post on our profile is our real life. 20% of what we post on our profile is our business or our sales post. So let's break that down and talk about the 80%. Those are going to be our life posts and our engagement posts. Make sure that when you're putting out a life post, you're giving some sort of value. And when I say value, don't take that as like a daunting word, like, how do I give value to these people? When I say value, I mean, are you educating? Are you entertaining? Or are you inspiring? Do one of those three. I'm big on the entertainment. I love to live my hot mess life out loud because people can relate to that. It's 2020. Everything is going insane. And people really relate to that. Mom fails, whatever I've got going on. People really relate to that and they trust and engage with me on that aspect. So whatever you've got going on, really live your life out loud on there and learn how to take whatever may be a struggle going on in your life and turn it into something a little bit more inspiring. How can you flip that to make them like, wow, I'm dealing with that too. I totally get her. And she just changed my whole mindset on that. Like now I'm like, yeah, okay, girl, yes. You know what I mean? So then we have engagement posts as well. So this is what gets people flocking and commenting on our page. And yes, this helps our Facebook algorithm, but it's not a matter of how many comments you get. If you have 700 comments, that's great. But what's that doing for you? Are you engaging with those people? So I encourage you to take your engagement post and not just be like Starbucks or Dunkin', but put yourself in there. Get your coffee that you have that morning and say, y'all, when that coffee hits your soul, you take that first sip and it hits your soul. I'm a sucker for a white chocolate mocha. What's your favorite drink? And in those comments, that's a very vague question. People can be like, I love Dunkin', I love this, I make my coffee at home. That's a very basic example, but you get all kinds of people commenting that you can engage with. It's not about the number of comments you have. It's about the relationships that you're building. And those relationships are going to turn into customers, are going to turn into teammates. They're going to turn into whatever because they like you, they know you, they trust you, and you have formed a relationship with them. So I think it's important to really live your life out loud, show up, talk about your struggles, talk about how you overcome them, engage with people on a more personal level rather than just like, this or this, pizza or tacos, put your life in there. Take a picture of yourself and say, my husband wants tacos for dinner. I want pizza. Who's going to win this debate? Add yourself in there. And just note that you are a brand. Yes, you are a brand, but people don't buy the brand. They don't join the brand. We have an awesome brand to, stick behind, but they buy and they join you. So show up on your profile, show your face, bring your personality, bring everything you've got, bring your lives, bring all of you and be 100% yourself because your vibe is going to attract your tribe. So if you're showing up as somebody you're not, the people that are going to come to you, you're not really going to vibe with. If you're showing up as yourself and being honest and, talking about your struggles, your wins, your this, your that, people are watching you and your right people are going to come to you. And that's what you want. That's what we want. We want to show up as ourselves. We want to follow this simple system that can be duplicated, but in our own way. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jen, who is going to talk to you about how to keep your profile interesting.
Thank you so much, Jayla. Yes, so my name's Jen. I'm here in the UK. I've been doing this business for just over a year now. And before I joined this business, I didn't really use social media very much at all. I was the typical scroller and sharer, an absolute serial sharer. So whenever people look at me now and they think, wow, look what you have achieved in a year, it's kind of mind-blowing. It still blows my mind. But just like Jayla said, I follow the system and I live out loud and I show people who I am, what I'm about, what my goals are, what I want to do, like what I want to achieve with this business. And I do that all with my attraction marketing. And that 80% of our 80-20 system. It is so, so important, you guys, that you're doing the 80%. If you don't do the 80%, you can't really do the 20%. With regards to, like, the 80% is where we bring people in. We are a magnet to people. What is the point in us not doing this part? We're doing this part, but there's no one to see it. We have to do the 80% so that we're bringing people in. Whenever we do our 20% and we're asking for shout outs and we're doing all of those things, we have an audience already there to see our things. So how do you get the audience that you want? Well, you be exactly you. You have to live out loud, and you have to show that courage that a lot of the time, even me, like, people will say to me, oh, it's so easy for you, you know, you're so confident all the time. And I love how you're so determined, and your confidence, you know, oozes out of you. And I'm like thinking, what? That's not me. Like, I just know that, okay, I have to put on this game face, like right now, doing this Zoom call. I know that, okay, to get my end results, I have to do this, and I have to do it this way. If you want to bring strong leaders into your business, they need a strong leader to inspire them. So make sure you're telling people that you are that strong leader, and they are missing out if they don't come and join you. So be who you want to attract, whilst being yourself at the same time. So don't wait until you become that person. Like, if that's what you want to be, then live it out loud and tell people. You don't have to wait on the success to happen before you start to talk about it. But just make sure that you're giving people content to be attracted to, and that they want to follow. And if you're kind of thinking, well, you know, I don't really think, like, I don't think I have anything. Well, do people know who you are? Do you know who you are? Like, write it down. I'm a mom. I'm a nurse. I'm a wife. You know, I love going to the gym. I love, you know, baking cookies, whatever it is. Then go to Google, type it in, like, top 10 tips on the best gym wear, or top 10 tips on, you know, cookie recipes, or whatever it might be, and deliver that to your people so that they know that this is my brand. This is who I am. This is what this girl loves. You know, she talks about it all the time. For me, so I'm a dental hygienist. I don't do dental hygiene anymore, but I have all of that education, you know, when I want to share it with people, and I want people to see me as a professional person. I don't want people to see me as, oh, she just sticks up a random toothpaste post every now and again, and it's so, you know, it's so lame that that's what she does. I want people to see me as, I'm a businesswoman, I'm an entrepreneur, I am destined for success, I am professional, I am running a professional business. Do you want to be a part of that? So if that's what you're trying to put out there, if that's what you're trying to gain, then you have to give people that perception of you. So just go with it, and make sure, just like Jayla said, you're educating, inspiring, or entertaining whenever you're posting. It's not just throw up a post and see what happens. There has to be reason behind it, and you have to know what you're doing whenever you're posting. It is going to take you time to learn as well. You know, sometimes you'll put up a post and it's like, wow, that was a really good response. I wasn't expecting that. It was just a simple, you know, a positive quote with a nice picture of me and my family. Exactly, just like Jayla said, you know, you have to bring it back, spin it back, and put it on you, because people want to see you. Or there's times where I think this post is going to be so good, and it's kind of like, meh, you know, no one really engages, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to make that better the next time. So it is a learning process. It takes time, and like we know, it's all about planting seeds, and what you do today, it's going to show in probably 1 to 2 months' time. So it's going to be a process, and it'll take you time to get to your end result, but don't wait until you get there before you start sharing it. So if you want a big business, think big. Do people know that you're growing a big business? Do people know that you're a professional person, you're a businesswoman, you are successful? Do people know that? If not, tell them. You have to tell people what you're about and who you are, and that they can do exactly the same thing. So be relatable, be yourself, and just live out loud, and just don't be afraid. If you need to put on that, you know, like I say, you know, that mask of confidence or whatever, then do that. It's going to be 10 seconds of your life. You know, whenever you're typing out your post and you're pressing post, or your 5 minutes where you're doing a live, that's okay. You can chill out afterwards. But people want to feel like they're going to be taken care of. Okay, if I join this girl, I know what she's about. I know she loves the same things I love. I know she's a mom as well. I know she has the same sort of professional background as me. I know that she wants more in life. Well, that's exactly the same things that I want. So if you're thinking all those things in your head, that I want all of these things, make sure that the rest of the world knows it as well. Because like I said, if you're not telling people, they don't know. So make sure you're doing that 80% and it will lead on to the rest, the 20%, and it makes the 20% so much easier. But posts and what we put out there are absolutely amazing. We know that stories are so important too. And they're a huge, huge, huge part of this business as well. So with that, I'm going to pass this over to Tori, who's absolutely amazing. And she's going to talk to you guys more about stories.
Hey everyone! Oh my goodness, I know you guys are inspired because I'm feeling super inspired. So many great tips. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Tori. I've been in the business just over 3 years. I was somebody who was missing a piece. I could feel it that I was missing something. And so this business has become a challenge for me. It's given me just that thrill. And I love that I'm on this recruiting board here speaking with you guys because recruiting is truly my passion. I absolutely love it. It's the best thing for me. It's so fun to recruit. So hopefully I can give you guys some tips that are working for us right now with recruiting in your stories. So we know that stories are a very, very important part of our business. And we also know that it involves consistency. We can't just randomly throw something up and people like, oh, they saw it one time and they want to join our business. And so something that I found through trial and error with stories, I was that person who I'd be like, oh, in my stories, I'm going to put a toothpaste. Oh, I'm going to put a recruit. Oh, the next day I'm going to put this. It doesn't work that way. So we have found that if you can concentrate a weekly cycle on one thing, one topic, it really brings people in and it's what brings the results. So today I'm going to share with you recruiting cycle tips, how to do polls and how to respond to those people. So the biggest and most important thing is consistency. They have to see it more than once. So know that. And we rolled out this recruiting cycle and I want to kind of like break it up for you so that you know what to focus on. And every day with the recruiting cycle, if you are focusing on one thing, if you do too many things, it can overwhelm people. But if you're focusing on one story that's inspiring, we found that that's huge. So, and remember, you guys, stories sell, okay? People want to be inspired. They want to hear stories. That's what's going to bring the recruits in, okay? So really focus on that. So the way I kind of roll out with the recruiting cycle is I identify the problem, okay? I point out the obvious or what is that obvious situation that somebody needs help with. So I'll give you an example. I might start that story cycle with a simple quote that might say something like, you will never look back on your life and think, I spent too much time with my family or I spent too much time with my kids. Okay. So if I started with that quote, the next thing I would do is I would do 2 to 3 slides on an inspiring story, maybe somebody in the business, or maybe my personal experience with playing at the park with my kids, or how this business has been able to create more of that time. And so that gets that plan, that you planted the seed with that quote. Now they just saw the story. And so what happens, the next step is they've been inspired by the story. And then that next thing, you guys cannot forget about the poll. The poll is very important. So after I give the story, I probably would stop it with some sort of inspiring quote that might say something like, if not now, but when, and put a poll on it, okay? So remember, the cycle's kind of starting with a quote, it's giving an inspiring story, and it's ending with a quote to kind of get them to say yes. And then you're creating a poll. And when you put that poll, it's very important. You always want to put 2 positives. So it might be like, I'm ready, yes, or I'm ready, send details. It's never a yes and a no. So keep it with 2 positives. And so this question comes up a lot. They say, okay, so they voted in my poll. Now what do I do? Or did they accidentally vote in my poll? Or did they meet? I don't understand. What do I do? So you know that people accidentally vote in polls. I do that every day. Click, click, click. I get happy. And that's okay if it's an accident. But we have to use the permission statement. So don't forget, if somebody votes in your poll, the number one thing is you have to use that. We don't want to come across with an icky feeling or be too aggressive. We really want to do that permission statement. So what I usually say is, hey, thanks for voting in my poll. I get a little heart in there and I'll say, it's fun and simple. Can I send you info? Ask them permission. Even if they accidentally voted in your poll, they'll respond back and be like, oh no, sorry, I accidentally did that. I'm like, oh great, no worries. Have a Merry Christmas. I just got into a conversation with them. Guess what? they're now going to be seeing my stuff on Facebook. And just like Jayla and Jen just talked about attraction marketing, they're going to be seeing what I'm posting. They're going to start to like what I'm posting, and they're eventually going to join my team. So even if they accidentally hit, that's okay. Now, if they say yes, okay, that's another way. Just remember, keep it easy, keep it real. So I want to wrap it up with a couple tips. Recruiting in stories, it's consistency. They have to see multiple times. They have to see different stories. They're not just going to relate with one story. So for example, day one might be a small story on a nurse, okay? Start with inspiring quote, a small story on a nurse, then end with your poll. Day two might be a stay-at-home mom story. Day three might be an accountant. And that's what's going to get them thinking. They might not relate with the nurse story, but by day three, they see an accountant and it's like, well, there's multiple people. You've just planted the seed for them that week. And that's what gets them thinking. I always like to make sure and have one of those stories in that weekly cycle, something around travel. You guys know we can earn travel in this business. A lot of people want to travel. So usually one is all focused around travel. And that's the theme for the day. And that creates a lot in the poll. That's probably one of the biggest ones. So we will provide some examples and some content for you guys so you can kind of see what those look like. But something that I learned from a lot of the Fraser courses was you've got to point it out. You got to point out the obvious. Then you have to show how it works. And then if you can throw in your own testimony, you know, if you point it out, you show a story, you turn that camera around and you're talking about it. And then from there, you end it with an inspiring, like, if not now, when, and put a poll in there, you're going to have way more success. So always try to add your own testimony in there. And so hopefully that gives you some info. And don't forget 2 positives in your poll. So from there, I'm going to roll it over to Sandra, who is going to talk about a very, very important part of our business, shout out. So Sandra, if you want to take over.
Hey guys, super excited to be here. For those who don't know me, I am Sandra McGinnis. I am an Emerald Director in New Skin, and believe it or not, today is my 2-year anniversary from the day that I was flipped into this business, which is super exciting. So if you think that the holidays are fast approaching and people aren't interested, you are wrong. And I tell you that because that's a little bit about my story. I was not looking for this. You know, I have worked in the corporate world for 28 years. I'm a single mom of 3 kids, and this was not even on my radar. But I ended up doing a supportive post for somebody, Renee Perkins, who's now my upline and now one of my best friends. And I look back now and think after 2 years of being in this, I cannot imagine not being in this community and not being with these women. Like, I was not looking for this, but now I am so grateful. And I just think when you say that, you don't know who's looking. So you don't know who you're going to meet in these shout outs, right? So I'm here a little bit just to talk about the importance of shout outs and the simplicity of turning a shout out into a flip. So we actually do have a masterclass on shout outs on Teams in Unit 6, but I wanted to jump on and kind of give my little tips and tricks of what I am doing. And so just to back up, we all know that shout outs are the foundation of this business, right? So that's what this is all about, is getting into other people's networks. Shout outs are the biggest driver to building your team. So yes, shout outs, you see the retail profit, you have to get that out of your head. We don't care about the $10 for toothpaste, right? What we want to do is build an empire. The only way we're going to build an empire is to build a team, and that is done through recruiting through shout outs. So a little bit about me. My entire team is built off shout outs. I have never met any of them before they offered to do a shout out for me. And now they're all on my team. And honestly, they are like family to me. So that is the best part about shout outs, is making new connections every single day. So if you feel like you're in a rut and, I can't recruit, I can't do this, always go back to shout outs. Shout outs are the foundation. They're the key, right? So what we're doing with shout outs and why they're so important is that we're getting into someone else's network. So we have our warm network, right? Our friends, our family who trust and love us. But how far is that going to take you? We want to fish in someone else's pond. We want to keep expanding our network, right? Because when you think about it, This is a social media business. So you need to be social. You need to make friends. You need to make connections. You need to be authentic. And that is really the key with shout outs, is connecting with people. So, get into their network, and then it just kind of snowballs into effect that shout outs are an endless way of meeting new people. And honestly, you don't know who you're going to meet. We all know this is a gift to share. You don't know who's ready. And maybe if someone isn't ready then, they're going to be ready tomorrow. So for me, the key word in recruiting through a shout out is it has to be simple. Like simple, stupid. Simple, simple, simple. I cannot stress that enough. Just think of a shout out. I think of a shout out. Every time I want to do a shout out, I say, okay, my mindset is I have a sale. That sale is going to turn into a shout out. That shout out is going to turn into a recruit. Right? So that's what you need to think. You can't think about the retail profit. You're like, I'm going to do my shout outs today. And from there, I'm going to get recruits and build my team. And if not, you're still planting the seed. So every shout out to me is a way to talk about the business, to build a relationship, and to possibly flip someone into the business. I was flipped into the business. I said no 3 times before finally Renee said, all right, whatever, I'm in. So you have to be consistent, but be yourself. So when I say about, keeping it simple, the way I do my shout outs is I typically, like I said, if you're in a rut and you don't know who to do a shout out to, I start with my own personal post. So I will go through an engagement post that blew up, right? They're all my friends, they're all my family, they're all my connection. And I'll go through and be like, hey, Mary, would you do me a favor and give me a simple shout out on my whitening toothpaste? Typically, they always say yes, right? So now my shout out's out there. I don't leave any stone unturned. I am looking at anyone who liked it, anyone who hearted it. I am reaching out to them and saying, hey, Mary, I just saw that you liked the post that, Jenny did for me. Are you interested in learning more about this whitening toothpaste? And you're getting into that engagement, but you're being yourself, right? You're talking, you're not being pushy, you're not being salesy, you're just making a friend, right? You're just communicating. It's social networking. That's what we do. And every shout out is a way to plant the seed. So there's a few different ways that I go about it. And just really, you don't want to overthink it. Pretend you're talking to your friend, your sister, your mom, your neighbor, and just be you. So every shout out is a little bit different. And I gauge it based on that person who's doing the shout out. So if I'm doing a shout out and I see that it's really not taken off, it's all like just new skin people commenting on it, it doesn't matter. I am still going to plant the seed. So I reach out and I say, hey, Kathy, thank you so much for your supportive shout out. I super appreciate this. Hey, at any point you want to take this over, I'd rather you keep the money off these sales, seeing they're your friends and family. Super easy. It's 100%. I'll walk you through everything. Keep it super short. She might come back and say, nope, I'm not interested. I don't want to do it. You don't walk away from that, right? You never, ever walk away from a no. You kind of have to say, oh my gosh, it's taking off. Are you sure you don't want to do this? And just kind of don't put any pressure on them. And if they say no, I say, absolutely. No worries. I get it. Here, let me add you to my beauty page and you can find out more about these products. So that's kind of if a post isn't going well, I'm still planting the seed. I'm still engaging with them and I'm not pushing anything. Then on the other hand, if you see a post that is taking off, like crazy taking off, like our toothpaste is, first thing I do is I actually just send a message and I say, oh my gosh, have you seen your post? That's it. And then I kind of leave it alone and see if they see my comment or not. And they may not, and they may read it and not respond. And then I might go back like 30 seconds later, go, wow, it is blowing up. You have to check this out. And then they'd be like, oh, great. I just wanted to give you sales, right? Most people aren't like, yeah, sign me up. They always give an excuse. They're like, yeah, great. I'd love to give you the sales. I'm so glad that it worked out. Then I do the voice clip, right? So it's like, wow, get them excited really quick. A voice clip, no more than 20 or 30 seconds. You don't want to be blabbing to them all about the process and the simple system. You want to put money in their pocket. You want to get them excited. That's how they say yes, is when you put money in their pocket and their post is flying off the radar. And you're like, oh my gosh, where am I going with this? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, Karen, you totally need to take over this post. It's so super easy and all cash profit. These are your friends and family. I don't want to take that away from you. Let me walk you through it. What do you think? I always like leave a question. What do you think? And then most of the times they come back and say, I'm too busy. I can't add anything on my plate, right? We all hear that. I get so much going on. And then I was like, the feel, felt, found. You have to do the feel, felt, found. What that is agreeing with them. Like, I 100% feel the exact same way. I am a single mom of 3 working a full-time job. I didn't think I could do this either, but what I love is I can do it on my own time. You're looking at $300 sitting there for one post. You don't like it, you never have to do it again, but you have nothing to lose. And you kind of get into that conversation, and then they start to think about it, kind of like I did when Renee asked me 3 times, and finally I said, you know what, why not, right? So I guess my point is, don't overly talk too much, right? Be super simple, be yourself, be authentic, have a real conversation with them. And at the end of the day, if they're like, this is not for me, I say, no pressure, Mary. I completely understand. If you ever change your mind, what's so great is that you can do this anytime you want. So if things change in your life, always reach out. I am happy to help you. It's a gift to share. And that's what I really, tell everyone. This is a gift to share. I want to share it with everybody because you don't know where people are in your life. And people are going to say no. That's fine. I just move right along and I get right back into the other shout out. I had, someone put up a shout out. She didn't want to take it over. I got 3 sales from her post. As soon as I get a sale from anybody, I asked them to do a post for me. And now that girl got into the business. So her friend is going to see that I got her friend for another post back into the business. And sometimes people have that fear of missing out, right? They're like, oh my God, what did I just give up on? So shout outs are just so super important. They're watching you, you're planting the seed. It's an opportunity to put, lie down the business in a very comfortable, non-pressuring way. And then again, I take down their names. I might follow up in a week from now or see what they're doing because anything could change, especially in the world that we're living in now. So honestly, have fun with it. Don't take no for an answer. Get over that retail profit. The whole goal is to really build a team. And that is done through shout outs because you can talk recruiting all you want, which is great if you can do it that way. But with a shout out, again, you're getting them excited. They're seeing their post blow up with all their friends and family who want this product. So it's an easy way to get money in their pocket and to get them engaged. And then from there, the next step is like, hey, let's just jump on the phone and chat. Really simple. So those are my little tips. Honestly, just be yourself. When everything else fails, go for the shout outs. Find those people for shout outs. Never do a cold message. Always work with people either in your private page or people on your own personal page. And then they just snowball into effect, and that's how you're going to grow your network and meet so many people. And who knows what's going to happen and who knows who you're going to meet. So with that, thank you guys for having me on. I'm going to roll it over to Anna, who's going to talk about her tips on shout outs.
Well, thank you, Sandra. That was awesome. I was taking notes. I loved that. And it really inspired me to reconnect to the shout out. So I want to share a little bit. First of all, my name is Anna Gallman. I live in Indianapolis. I am a qualifying team lead and have been doing the business for over 3 years. So I want to tell you that I also am a person who said no at first. So no isn't no, it's maybe, or tell me more, or give me a minute to think about it. So just to encourage you, so, you're going to get no's, and some of your most amazing people come from the initial no. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience with shout outs. So first of all, I want to ask you a question. What is your mindset when it comes to shout outs? How do you think about them, and how are you defining them in your mind? So Sandra touched on this a little bit as well. So it's so important to redefine the shout out. If you are watching this, it's because you're curious about building a team, or you already are, and you are ready to build your empire, right? So if that's the case, you're not going to build an empire by selling toothpaste the rest of your life. I'm sorry, but that's the cold truth, okay? So you've got to recruit. That's just it, okay? And so now the shout out becomes not about the retail profit, not about you selling more products, because that will get you, if that's all you're thinking about, that's not going to create lasting change in your life. It just won't. It'll be fun. You'll sell some stuff, but that you're not creating your team. So when you're ready to build and you're obsessed with that, you're going to start seeing the shout out as a way to come into contact with more people, more connections, more friendships, more relationships. And why? So that you can share the business with them. Okay. So let go of the retail profit idea, like Sandra said, and I'll tell you kind of even my mindset. I was so obsessed with recruiting for the first year, 2 years of my business, even now, that this is crazy, but I didn't even keep track of how much money I was making from selling product. I did not care. I was every time I sold something, I thought, oop, going to recruit that girl. Oh, yep, here's another one. And I would see that list of sales, you write down who's buying and all that. I would look at that and say, oh my gosh, like, look at all of those people I can recruit. It wasn't about like, wow, look at those sales. I just didn't care. Like, I just wanted that team. I wanted that team. So if that's in your forefront, then when you're doing your shout outs, you'll be able to take every opportunity that comes to you. So let me tell you a story. It's a really encouraging story. So it's story time. So here I am, Anna Gallman. I have been doing the business for about 6 months, I guess. So still pretty early in the business. And I was doing a lot of shout outs. That was like my thing. I was obsessed with shout outs, constantly doing shout outs and trying to, get new contacts. And I had, I know what I did. So I want to give you the whole story because it's really interesting and you can definitely see yourself in this. So I knew I wanted to get out of my geographical location because when I started, there were a lot of people in my area that were selling the toothpaste. And it was in my mind that I wanted to branch out bigger and I wanted to be able to recruit across the country because I knew that that would create a large team for me. So the only way I knew how to do that at the time was thinking, okay, I have all these friends on my Facebook list anyway. So I went to look through them and I made a list of anyone that didn't live near me. People that I knew from college, maybe someone I used to work with, somebody I met on vacation, who knows, okay? I made a big list, anybody I knew and had a relationship with, and I reached out to them. One of those girls I went to college with and was kind of an acquaintance of mine. I asked her to do a shout out for me to help me out, and I was very clear about why, that I'm trying to get out of my location. She was so nice about it. She lived in Iowa. She put the shout out up, okay? This shout out got me maybe 2 or 3 sales. Okay. I thought it was going to be great because I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl lives in Iowa. I'm going to be, yeah. So she put the shout out up. I got like 2 or 3 sales. I thought, okay, that's all right because I'm taking every opportunity and I can recruit one of those 3 people, right? So I take those 3 and I ask every single one of those 3, will you do a shout out for me? First, I presented the business. They said, no, not right now. Could you do a shout out for me then? Sure. One gal said, yes, of course I will. She pops the shout out up. Now this shout out blew up. Okay. I will never forget it. I remember it was in the afternoon. It was right before I had to take my kids to school or pick my kids up from school. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, look at all these sales. Like oh my gosh, everyone was buying. Everybody loved it. It had like, it was getting like 100 comments on it. Okay. I was so excited. All of a sudden there was the infamous troll of social media, right? Okay. So somebody gets on there and she started like a stranger to me, right? And I'm like, I just started this business. So I was very sensitive to this kind of stuff at that time, like everyone is. I didn't have my thick skin built up yet. So she gets on there and starts saying that I'm like a fake account. And I'm like, who even is this? And she's trying to steal from us. And I was devastated. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best shout outs I've ever had. It was going to be everything for me, those thoughts. And it got so bad that people that I didn't know were PMing me and accusing me of things. Like, that's how bad it was. Okay. It was awful. Okay. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I can't believe people are being so mean to me. I'm just a real person, And so anyway, the gal that put that shout out up, she was a very nice lady. She messaged me and she said, Anna, I am so embarrassed. I'm so sorry about what's happening to you. I have to delete this shout out because I'm so embarrassed about what's happening on my wall. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I cried. Okay. I cried about it. And then I had already messaged a lot of people, right? This had already been kind of going on for an hour or 2. And I remember calling my upline at the time and I said, this happened to me and I'm really sad. And she said to me, Anna, she's like, who even cares? She's like, you go back over there and you message all those people and you get your sales, like let it go. That girl's, a jerk, yada, yada. So I did that. So I went through and all the messages. So here's another example. Take every opportunity. Don't let it fall. So what that was an embarrassing shout out? So what that people were mean to me? Who cares? I'm building my empire and some stuff's going to happen along the way. So I got in there and messaged and said something like, well, that kind of escalated quickly or something. I'm like, if you still want some toothpaste, just let me know. Well, here's another wrinkle in the story. So one of the gals that I messaged, she was like, well, you know what? I don't really want to buy the toothpaste, but I want to do this business. And I was like, oh, okay. So this woman, she started immediately. She owned like an Orange Theory Fitness, if you guys know what that is. She got started. The next day she went to work, sent me a picture of herself signing everybody else up that worked there. She went crazy, like just went off recruiting. She was amazing. And that blew up. And that shout out, okay, the one that didn't go well and I sold 3 tubes, the one where everyone bullied me, the one where I cried, the one where I thought, can I even do this business? Okay, that shout out today, 2.5 years later, has given me my largest leg and another leadership leg, okay, because of that one shout out, the one. So I tell you this story to encourage you that you need to get, first of all, obsessed with shout outs and building your team and recruiting with them, not selling. You're going to sell and that's fun, but you are looking for your team. So if that is the case, just like Sandra said, work that thing. Everybody that likes it, everybody that hearts it, you're reaching out. Everybody that wanted info, you're sharing the business. You are looking to make the most of every opportunity that comes to you because you don't know which opportunity, which little opening, which door is going to lead you to what you are dreaming of. Because if you can dream it, you can have it. But you have to take the action. You have to make the most of every single opportunity. And don't judge it. It's not for you to judge the way the opportunity looks. It's for you to take it and take the most of it. And if I can do it, you can do it. If one can, we all can. So I'm going to pass this over to Wendy White now, and she's going to share a little bit about her recruiting. And just thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.
Hi, everybody. My name is Wendy White, and I live outside of Denver, Colorado. And I'm a newbie. I started this business on March 18th of this year during the pandemic. And I have been just on a whirlwind trip to now in December. And when I started, my first month, I asked my upline, Carol Hadzicki, I said, how do you really make money at this? And she said, it's all about the recruiting. It's about signing up as many people as you possibly can. And, I took that to heart and I went from doing my first post to hitting the level of diamond in a 5-month period. So it just snowballed on me so quickly. And I want to share with you what it was I was doing. I do not come from a sales background. I was a teacher and a children's minister at our church. So I definitely, this sales is not my thing, but people are my thing. And really connecting with people and helping people is definitely just a huge part of who I am. And so when I'm talking today about recruiting, I want to be super clear that this is in addition to doing those blitz sessions and sending out those consistent messages every single day. So that still has to happen. It's not this either or thing. Kind of recruiting is like you're juggling, right? Like you have 8 balls in the air and they're all flying and you have to keep going with that. I love adding a compliment when I'm messaging people. Hey, I checked out your Facebook and I think you would be absolutely awesome at what I do. I would love to show you a video just for you to learn more about it because it's free and it's fun. Just let me know if you want to see it. And what I found is almost everyone wants to see it when you start it that way. I mean, you're sending them a compliment. And so just know that piece. And it's a numbers game. I can't tell you how many people on my team have reached out to me to say, gosh, I'm reaching out to everyone and no one's interested. And then I start digging and asking questions, and I found out, well, they reached out to 4, 5, 6, 7 people. And what I always say back to them is, I'm not Blue Diamond yet either, but I think we're all going to hit Blue Diamond when we've talked to 500 or 1,000 people about this. Not 4 or 5. So I just kind of want to change their mindset on the numbers and the vast numbers of people that we're all going to talk to just about this experience. So having it be a numbers game, I do want to talk about those daily messages that you're sending out and posting recruiting messages. Those are in some ways passive, right? That puts you in a situation where then you're waiting for people to reach back out to you saying, oh, I'm interested, I want to do this. And that does happen. But there's an entire another element to recruiting that also has to be happening. And that is that you're committed to talking to people every day about this business. And Sandra, who spoke earlier about shout outs, I learned from her a couple months ago. She did something that said, I never go to bed without doing a shout out. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's awesome. I wasn't doing that. And I wasn't doing a shout out a day. So now I challenge my team with doing 30 shout outs a month, which is 1 a day. And in addition to that, we also need to be talking to X number of people a day. And I say that not because I was a math teacher, but I say that because if you want to grow your business, you're going to talk to 1 person a day about this. If you want to grow your business really fast, you're going to talk to 2 or 3 people a day about this. And whatever number you stick to that you want to share this business with, you need to do that every day. And so how do we fit that into our life, right? Like how do we fit anything scary? Because it's scary to pick up the phone and talk to people about what we do sometimes. And so I want to share just kind of a little bit of an inspiring story with you, and hopefully this will inspire you to pick up the phone and call your friends. But years ago, my twins were 1, and now they're seniors in high school. So about 17 years ago, I was watching the Iron Man on TV. And I, as an adult, did not know how to swim at all, like gripping the raft at the pool parties and that kind of thing, hoping I didn't go under. And so I was watching the full Iron Man on TV, and I was seeing these people literally swimming over each other. And I looked at it, and I looked at my babies on the floor, and I was like, I need to teach them to swim, and I don't know how to swim. So I left the room and I went in the other room and I got on my computer and I signed up a year later to do the full Ironman. No idea how to swim, no clue. And so every single day I started going to the rec center. I took swim lessons. My first swim lesson, I was in a class with a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old and me. And I showed up every single day and I grabbed that raft and I learned to kick and I learned to blow bubbles and all of that. And a year later, I finished. I not only finished the whole Ironman, I finished mid-pack on the swim with people who this is their whole life. And I was terrified. And people were like, you're going to like to swim by the end. I still don't like to swim. Nothing about it do I like, but I did it. And I did it through consistent daily action and showing up. And there were days the day we learned how to flip turn, I didn't want any part of that. I didn't even want to be there. But I did it because I showed up. And so next time you don't want to pick up your phone, I want you to think, okay, that girl did the Ironman when she didn't even know how to swim. So I can pick up the phone and call my friend. Like, the thing we do when we're scared to do something, you either need to do it first or you need to block off a set time that day and time block when you're going to do it. And so, hold on. And so for me personally, time blocking works wonders. We have 4 kids, and I set aside a time specifically like, okay, my recruiting is going to happen from 10 a.m. to 10:20. just a 20-minute block of time. And I'm just going to call people on the phone and I'm going to talk to them about what it is I do. I am the queen of sending out a text message that says this. I always say, I have something really exciting to tell you about, but I'm too busy to call you right now. We need to chat soon. That's it. I just plant a seed. Then they call me back. And I have them on the phone. And I can say, oh my gosh, girlfriend, listen to this. My second month doing this, I made X thousand of dollars and whatever. And I can tell them what it is that I'm experiencing or that I'm doing. I think the thing I want to really talk to you about today about that being scared is I want you to not only fight your scared when you pick up the phone, but I want you to change your mindset. When I changed my mindset on this, I got really good at it. When I look at I'm hounding people or I'm bugging them, I'm not going to sign up anybody. But when I look at, for some reason, I've been given a gift, right, that caused me to just shoot up in this company and caused me to have income of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars each month. And how did that happen? And it was planted in my lap. And so I can either hold this gift and not share it with any of my friends, or that gift multiplies. I can hand that gift to all of my friends and they can take it and run with it or not. And neither of those I care. My job is just to offer the gift, right? My job is to offer this experience and this company to everyone I know. And the people who need it and the people who want it at that time when they're given that golden key to throw up a post and make a couple $100 and talk to their friends and build a business, the people who want to take it and run with it will. And so you're going to have people say no, and you just have to let that go off. It's not their right time, and that's okay. Your job is never to strong arm someone into joining this team. Never. Your job is just to offer the opportunity to them and say it's available. And if someone says no, just leave that door open. One of my top distributors said no first, Nicole Campbell, but now she's one of my top people on my team. They cycle back. They might cycle back. You're just planting seeds. And so I hope that this gave you guys some ideas. It's like the Nike ad, just do it, right? We can sit there and not call people, or we can pick up the phone and offer the experience to everyone we know. And that's made all the difference in the world to me. So I'm going to pass the torch on to Mary, and she's going to give you tips on what to do when people do say no.
Oh, thanks so much, Wendy. And your story of swimming was so amazing. So thank you for sharing that. I loved it. So hi, everyone. Mary Doc here. If you don't know me, I'm a Philly girl sitting here. It was 7 degrees this morning. So if anybody's on the northeast side, it's freezing. So I'm been in the business for 2 years now. I'm actually just past my 2-year anniversary in November. And I was one of those people that was hesitant, not too sure about this business. What am I getting myself into? Like so many have said and shared with you all. And I, I'm so thankful that I did say yes. And, thankful for the opportunity to even share with you some of the tips that I've learned, along the way. So a little bit about my story and how I got in. I'm a 5-year cancer survivor. So that's like, woo, my big, almost journey that led me to Nu Skin. After going through cancer, I took an early retirement from my 27-year long career, awesome career that I had, but I needed to step back after the cancer and kind of came across Nu Skin after that. And so thankful for, and mainly joined because it was free and was, free, simple, fun, the whole deal. And I was one of those people that was like, okay, I'll try it, right? Why not? So I, just love this business and was also one of those people that in the beginning was very, very hesitant and not sure about recruiting. So this masterclass is just so perfect to share with everybody that if you're hesitant, this is so many great tips. So I hope that everybody, gets something out of it. For me, what I would like to share with all of you is just a few things that I have done that have really kind of turned around my team and grew it over the last few months more so than, in the beginning when I started recruiting. It's just some tips I picked up along the way. And one of them is my biggest one, and that is every customer that I make a sale with, whether it's through a shout out that we just learned so much about, or, putting up a sales post about a product, or in my VIP group, every person that buys from me after, we close the sale and finalize everything, I will end with a blurb, if you will. I do change this blurb all the time. I make it personable and genuine. That's like two of my big tips, is to always be you. We heard Jayla talk about that, like just be you and not copy and paste all the time. I mean, we can copy and paste just to have a template, but try to put your own person into anything you're sending to people. But I do have a blurb that I'll send, and it'll kind of go along the lines, and I'll just share it here, but I'm sure we'll put it in the comments or something. And I just say like, hey, I got your Venmo. Thanks so much for ordering. So excited for you to try it. Kind of whatever it is that they bought, and add a little personal touch. But then I always say, I like to share this because somebody shared it with me and it's been such a gift. Like we just heard from Wendy. I use the same mindset that this business is a gift, and it was a gift to me. So I use that as my opening. Somebody shared this business with me, and I just like to pay it forward and share it with you in case you or somebody might be interested. And I started to tag this after every sale. And I'll just say, like, if you or somebody needs a way to make money, it's free, it's fun, it's simple. There's no like catch or gimmicks, all of that. And just let me know if you want more information. I do like that we learned from Fraser not too long ago, kind of taking the pressure off at the end by saying, if not, no worries, kind of. And I've found now that when adding that, like, if not, no worries, I really just like sharing about it because I find this business to be a gift. Most people will respond to that. Now I'll tell you a couple of my tips on the ghosting or no response. So if a person doesn't respond, and we call that, they ghosted me, they're probably not interested. I would offer to you that a ghost is somebody who, like me, saw the message and was too busy in the moment, couldn't respond, or just didn't have the time. But in Messenger, there's no other notification once they see it. We in the business are waiting for them to respond, so we can tell that they see it, and now we assume that they're not responding because they don't want to do it, or they don't want any more information. So I would just offer not to assume that. I have a list that I keep, and if they don't respond, then they stay on my list, and I'll go back and check back with them. So just keep that mindset of, don't assume that somebody is a no if they ghosted you. It's usually they're just too busy to respond, and now they forgot. Like the next day, they're not going to go back because it's not on their, first thing on their mind, but it is for us. So that's my first tip. Like, just try to find a way to send that message. If I forget to send it like initially, because sometimes I do ask also for the shout out. So I don't do both, like shout out and offer the business. I kind of squeeze the shout out in or offer the business. So you got to find, both ways in. I'll go back and ask them how they're doing with the product, and then I'll offer either the shout out, ask for the shout out, or offer the business, whichever one I didn't do, if that makes sense. So you want to always try to get both in. Or if they say no to the business, offer the shout out, offer the shout out like we just heard today. The other tip I want to offer to all of you that I have done and have done it successfully is find a way in. If you see somebody on Facebook that you've made a connection with and they seem like they are struggling or they could really use this business, we heard a tip, throughout this segment too, is, hey, I saw your post. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. It made me think of you, that this business might be something for you to consider. Make it personable to them, and not that you're taking advantage of whatever situation they're in, but just say to them, like, it just made me think of you, and it's something that somebody shared with me, so I just want to share it with you in case you're interested. Let me know if you want more information. And I've had many people like, oh my God, thanks for reaching out. I would love more information. And I've gotten a few people that have signed up that way. So just, it's not like we're spamming somebody over a tough situation, like say they got furloughed from their job or, in these days, people are really looking, and you never know who this business could help. I know we call this recruiting and recruiting masterclass, but I like to switch the word recruiting to helping. So I have a mindset of who can I help with this business today? So, because sometimes when we talk about recruiting, it could have a negative connotation, like I'm going to recruit a team. If we're talking to our friends and family that way, they might be like, I don't want to be recruited. So think to yourself in, who can I help? It's the same thing. We are recruiting them because it's just like, a process to bring into the business. But who am I helping today with this business? Because this business does help people and they don't know it. So they would never know it unless we shared about it. So I love, how Wendy just talked about sharing with not just 2 or 3, but hundreds. And that's the gift that we have. They can say no, and then they might circle back later. But if we don't share it with them, they'll never know. Okay. And the last tip that is, I find very successful for me, and it might be something you can or cannot do, but I do sometimes will invest a little bit in a person if I think they would be really good and they're on the fence. So I might offer to them like, hey, I'm going to send you a sample or one of our products for you to try because I really think you would be great. And I know that you're kind of on the fence about this business. So especially if it's somebody that hasn't tried the product, I have somebody right now that I'm doing it with and is going to sign up after the new year. They have a lot of young kids. She's been on the fence about it for a couple months, but said, when I said to her, I'm going to send you one of our products to try so you can get ready and try it before the new year starts. And we're going to start off strong with the new year. And she was all excited for that. So I'm not saying that that's something required to do, but if you can give like a sample or a freebie, people are like, oh yeah, I'll try it. And then that might get them excited to say, hey, this could be a business that, I could make money in. It's free fun. And I'm going to get a free product to try to see, please don't make this a part of your everyday routine. You have to pick and choose. The last thing too is, keep that. I talked a little bit about the list, but keep a list. Okay. Keep a list of the people that you mentioned the business to. You'll have a list of people that were kind of on the fence that wanted more information. So you always want to go back to them and make sure, hey, did you check this out? What are your thoughts today? How can I send you more information? It's not spammy. It's just making sure they have everything they need to make the right decision. And then the other list is the people that ghosted you that you're going to go back. We don't say the same blurb, say, hey, I know you're probably so busy just like I am, and you might have missed my last message. So let me know if you had any chance to check that out. That could just be a way back in. And they're just the types of non-spammy type messages that you can send to people that give them more information. You know what I mean? Like get you back into talking about this business. Every time you make a connection in Messenger, they're going to see your stories, that Tori talked about. They're going to see your posts because Messenger is really our biggest connection. They'll see us now, everything we do in Facebook. So I urge you to kind of use your Messenger every single day, and every customer send the business information to, make it personable. When you see something on Facebook, a person that would be great at this, hey, I thought of you. This business is a gift to me and I love sharing about it with others. Make it like that. Make it to yourself. Who can I help with this business today? That's what I say to myself. Who am I going to help? And it's truly helping. It's not just a mindset. You truly are helping. You never know who this business could help. And that's, kind of my tips that I love to share with all of you. It's been very successful for me and my team. I've met so many amazing people that are now friends of mine that never would have been had I not shared about this business. So I just love, and I love sharing with all of you. So thanks for listening. I'm going to pass the torch over to Tori and Jen, and I think they're going to kind of talk a little bit more about those no's and close it out for us.
Thank you, Mary. Oh my goodness. So I hope everybody wrote down in big capital letters and circled it, because I know I did. Who can I help? Okay. Change your verbiage to share. Change your verbiage to who I can help versus recruit. And that's going to take that ickiness out of it. So who can I help? I know I circled it really, really big. So what I want to share with you guys today is we're going to bring a real story to you. And I think real stories can share that with you, can help a ton. And the other tip I want to give you is don't be attached to yes or no. Okay. Don't be attached to it. You share it. Who can I help? It's on them. It's on the timing of their life. What's going on in their life if they're going to say yes or no. They might tell you no, but when the timing is right, they will say yes. And what I want to let you know is that has happened to me a lot. I have a lot of team members that have said no to me several times, some 3 times, some 10 times, some more than that. Some of them have eventually joined 6 months later. Some have joined 2 years later. Some have joined 18 months later. It has to be their timing. It's our job to share it and share the gift of who can I help. And so what I want to share with you today is a real story that happened with Jen Thompson, who you heard from earlier. She has started the UK team. I mean, she is an incredible leader. No doubt in my mind, she will hit Team Elite. She is running so fast right now, you guys. But she was one of my no's, you guys. She's one of my largest lines now, and she was a no for me. And so what happened is Jen reached out to me because she knew what I was doing, and she asked me for information on the toothpaste. And when she asked me for information on the toothpaste, I took it a step further and said, oh, great. Do you want information on the toothpaste or the business or both? And her response was, she only really wanted toothpaste, but she said, both. And so I gave her both. And so she took the information and I was told back, okay, no, that's not for me right now. Okay. So she was my no. But just like Mary just talked about making your list, I always bring this book out. This is my famous book, you guys. Mad success with recruiting with this book. This is my list. I have horrible, messy handwriting. All these people crossed off in here. This entire book is filled with people that I've recruited. These are all people on my list. They may have been no's, but what happened is I didn't take no for an answer. I didn't bug them. I didn't spam them. When they told me no, their name went in my book. And what I did is I committed to being a good Facebook friend. So I would go on and I would comment on their posts once a week so that I could make sure they could see me and I could bring them in through attraction marketing. And that's exactly what happened with Jen. So what I would love to do is turn it over to Jen. And I told you what I did with Jen, and maybe she can tell you how it kind of started to draw her in.
Yeah, so like Tori said, she offered me the business before, and we had connected before because we came from the same background. We were both in dental, and that's how we became friends, and we chatted about dentistry. And at this time, whenever we first became friends, I didn't know that she wasn't even doing hygiene anymore. She was on the toothpaste thing and she was rocking it and it was amazing. But I was like, oh my goodness, here's this girl from America and she's a hygienist and she does what I do and this is so cool. And she's messaging me and we kind of just got talking. That was fine. Then it came around to my birthday and she sent me a happy birthday message. And I was like, oh my goodness, how sweet. Because remember, I was a constant sharer. So Tori didn't really have very much content to connect with me with. So she was there. Anytime that I was online, I always saw her stuff because the things that she was putting online were fun. And, you know, she was always excited and she went live and I got those notifications and she'd done little fun things in her stories and all that kind of stuff. So I probably engaged with her stuff, but she didn't really have anything to engage with me. But she always circled back and made sure that she, you know, sent me a nice message every now and again. And she was that really good Facebook friend. So anyway, because I saw all of her stuff, I knew that she sold this whitening toothpaste. And I had a patient who was a child, and I knew from her post that the toothpaste could be used on children. So I messaged her about the toothpaste and was like, yeah, I have this patient, you know, do you think your toothpaste would be any good? And she just said, you know, about the business. She was like, well, the toothpaste, you can use it for this, this, and this. And also, you know, if you wanted to try it yourself, you know, you could put up a post and earn some money. I didn't even really acknowledge that part of her voice clip. I just was like, oh, okay, well, thanks for the info on the toothpaste, that's fine. But it went right in here. I didn't really take much notice, but subconsciously I knew that it was a possibility, you know, that it was an opportunity that was there for me if I wanted it. Didn't want it at that time, had no interest whatsoever at that time, but I always saw her posts. I saw her little teasers for the Ireland trip and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so either Ireland or Scotland. Like, I know it is because those photos, A, it looks really cool. B, it looks really wet. And that looks like just something that I would say on a daily basis. They're definitely going to Scotland or Ireland. And I messaged her and I was like, oh my gosh, this is definitely Scotland or Ireland. And then, yeah, so they went on the Ireland trip and it was all great. And I just followed her journey. Like, I saw her posting about her kids. I saw her posting about, you know, I knew that her daughter was called Jayla and she done gymnastics and that her son Mason played football and baseball and everything else. Like, I knew all of those things about her. So then whenever things started changing in my life and I thought I need something else, I knew exactly where to go because I knew that Tori was relatable to me. We came from the same background. We both had children. You know, I loved her energy and what she was achieving, and I knew that she was successful. I knew all of these things. And then the icing on the cake for me was whenever I watched her put her pool in. You all probably know this story already because I feel like I tell it all the time, but she got the guys to come out and they were mapping out her pool and she was like, yay, this is on my dream board. I'm getting a pool in this year. And I was like, message, tell me what you're doing. I am so ready for this. I am sick of sitting on the sidelines. What do I need to do? I want the same success that you're having. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. Previously to that, we hadn't had a lot of engagement in Messenger. So she probably didn't really know me. And Tori, you can probably speak up on this if you like, but I felt like I knew her so much because she'd done so well with all of the attraction marketing. I knew that the business opportunity was something that I could have because she reached out to me and she shared it with me. So all of everything links together, you guys, like all of the parts that everyone's talked about today, you know, about the 80-20, about the stories, about the shout outs, about sharing the business, like they all come together and eventually they come full circle. Like eventually they do. You just can't do one bit or the other. It has to all come together. So because I knew Tori, because I knew about the opportunity, because I wanted the success, whenever I started, I was at 12 o'clock. I was ready to go. So I was just like, tell me what I need to do and I'm going to do it. And I suppose the rest is history. So yeah, like I know it's not a no forever. I would never in a million years have dreamt that I would be sitting here right now on this call with you guys doing this amazing training with all these amazing ladies. Like this would not have been something that was ever in my vision of what my life would look like. Now my vision for the next 5 years is something that I never would have even dreamed of. So yeah, I know it's not a no forever. So just make sure you're tracking it and make sure that everything you do has a purpose and that everything you do is organized and yeah, you're tracking everything. But yeah, so grateful for being on this call. And like Tori said, or like I said to you, Tori, you probably didn't really feel like you knew me very much, but I 100% felt like I knew you.
And the key there, you guys, is even though it was a no in the beginning, when she was ready, she came into the business and she was at 12 o'clock. So they have to be ready. It's up to them. So I'm going to close this call with a couple call to actions. And it's going to be 1, use your verbiage of who can I help? Who can I help? Don't feel like you have to badger people or spam people because that's not what we're about. We can connect with people by using all of these tips today, amazing tips. You connect with the people, you are going to attract the people. You're going to attract your tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Remember that. Take these tips, be that person, and make the connection. And the other thing I will say, last call to action, and we will end this call, is going to be have your non-negotiable goals, okay? I believe Wendy talked about it where it was how many shout outs she does per day and how many business shares. I do not go to bed without sharing this business with at least 3 people every day. Yours might be 1, it might be 3, it might be 10. But for 2021, we're going into it. Set yourself a goal. How many people do you plan to help every single day? Share this business with at least 1 person every day. So thank you guys for joining us. And I know that you got so many amazing tips. I actually have an entire book of tips that I wrote down. I will be going back through this live and taking more tips. So I would encourage you to do the same and set yourself up for success with having your non-negotiable goal of how many business shares you will do every single day for 2021. See you guys. Have a great day.